It's August. You're tired, your garden is tired, and it's really hard to stay motivated. You're not failing. August is just hard, but here's how you can beat the August garden fatigue. Welcome to the Garden Gamble, where we're planting hope, taking chances, and growing memories for every season. I'm Ricky Clausen, owner of Clausen's Greenhouse in northern Minnesota. This podcast is for anyone who's ever stood in the garden, greenhouse, or backyard wondering if they're doing it right. Here we talk real-life gardening, the wins, the mistakes, and everything we learn along the way. Whether you're new to plants or have dirt permanently under your nails, you're in the right place. Let's take the gamble and grow together. Hey everyone, it's Ricky here with the Garden Gamble podcast, and thank you for joining us this week. We continue to kind of be in the heart of gardening season, and today's topic is really hitting home with me this week for sure. We're really talking about why August feels so hard in the gardening world. At least for me, I've been feeling this way, and I know I'm probably not alone. But the excitement of spring planting is long gone. We've been watering, we've been weeding, we've been maintaining for months now, and the plants and us can sometimes just be a little tired. The heat and the humidity are definitely also taking their toll on us gardeners, and those early spring blooms are done. So it's really easy to kind of feel discouraged, maybe overwhelmed at this time of the year and at this point in the gardening season. And right now, I know we're in the middle of August, but some of us are kind of mentally already into fall. Even though we're still in summer, that's just not always where our head is at this time of year. Even for me, even trying just to find time to make this podcast this week has been a challenge. My to-do list is a mile long and I am tired. But that's why I wanted to talk about this topic this week, because I know that I am not alone in this feeling. And here's a few things that I'm doing to kind of fix it. And I just want to run this by you as well if you are feeling this way like me. So here's a few tips to overcome that August garden fatigue for yourself and for your garden. So the first thing that I'm going to touch on is we need to stop trying to make everything perfect. I can be a bit of a perfectionist at times too, and it's probably one of the biggest things that I'm struggling with right now. I need to remind myself that the garden is not going to look like it did in June and in early July. And some plants are just not going to be looking as great as they should be. And there's a number of different reasons for that, whether it's insect pressure, watering issues, you name it, it's probably happening right now. And just trying to stay on top of all of it just seems like a bit much. But I just need to give myself permission and give yourself permission to have an imperfect garden. Good enough gardening is still gardening. We're just trying to hang on right now for some of us anyway. And it's tough because you want everything to look spectacular. You want things to be growing well. You want things to be healthy. But there are times in gardening where you can only do so much. Then that kind of leads me into the next thing here is we just need to pick the areas that matter the most. So instead of trying to fix your entire yard, your entire garden, I'm really going to narrow in on one or two things that are at the top of that priority list. Maybe you choose your front entrance, you are choosing your patio or your entertaining area. That's going to be your main focus because that's what people see, and the rest can just wait for a little bit. Maybe you choose the flower bed that you can see right out your kitchen window, that when you're doing the dishes, you see it and it just bugs you. Maybe that's the one that you need to focus on right now. We can let those less visible areas wait for a little while, and that is okay. And we're just going to spend our limited energy where it makes the biggest difference. And that can be a number of different things like we mentioned. Maybe that's just going out and picking a couple ripe vegetables, just enough to have for supper tonight, rather than trying to can a whole big batch of tomato sauce or whatever it is that you may be doing. Just pick the areas that matter most right now to you. The next thing on the list is to just do a 15-minute garden reset. This is just something practical that you can do. You can set a timer for 15 minutes and you're going to go out and pull the biggest weeds. You're going to deadhead just the most noticeable flowers, pick the right vegetables, remove anything that is bothering you right now, water anything that's a little wilty, maybe do something a little fun like pick a bouquet. But 15 minutes is all you need just to do something quick, and you're going to feel good about it. You've accomplished something, but you don't have to be out there for 3 hours making everything look absolutely pristine right now. So 15 minutes, set that timer. What you get done, and we can always try again tomorrow. I actually just did this last night out in the flower farm. I had a couple minutes before I needed to go in and cook supper for everybody, and I just went out to the flower farm. I deadheaded a whole bunch of zinnias and a few other things, and that's all I did. And then I walked away, made supper, and I can go back again later today or into the next few days and finish up a few other things. But I just took that small window that I had, did what I could, and that was enough for me for that day. The next thing you can do is bring back the fun. Lots of times we really get our blinders on with our to-do list, like I have to do this, this, and this, and we go out and we try to accomplish all of those major things, and we forget to have a little bit of fun while we're there. So that's one thing to kind of hit that refresh button, is bring back the fun. Think about why you love gardening in the first place. Maybe something fun for you is cutting flowers for your kitchen or for your table. Make a bouquet for a friend. Pick those vegetables for dinner. Take a picture of what's blooming. If you could see my camera roll right now, it is my kids and flowers. That is all I've got on there. I'm constantly taking pictures, but that is one thing I really enjoy doing, and it forces me to slow down a little bit and actually look at the flowers and enjoy them when I do take my camera out to take a picture of them. A few other things that you can do just for fun is just sit out there in the morning with a cup of coffee, or invite someone over to enjoy the garden, or maybe you can together or do some other preserving that you wanted to do. It's always more fun to do it with a friend or with a loved one, so you don't have to feel like you have to do it alone. I know when I was still doing our big vegetable garden, it was a lot more fun when my mom would come over and we could knock out a whole bunch of canning in one day or freeze a bunch of things from the garden. And it's just way more fun. And I don't know why, but it feels less daunting when you have someone there with you to enjoy it and to do it together. So yeah, invite somebody over. Another thing you can do is just walk around and just actually enjoy what you planted. Just taking that little bit of time to slow down and enjoy it. Because gardens aren't just chores and another thing on the to-do list. They are supposed to be enjoyed. So I hope that you can find the time to do that. If you follow us on Instagram or Facebook or just on social media in general, I actually just made a quick video this past week of me making my very first bouquet of the summer. And yeah, I grow flowers for a living. It's August, and I made my first bouquet for myself for our table. And when I started picking it, I was trying to just take my own advice. I've been talking about it a lot here on the podcast over the last few episodes about taking that time to go out and enjoy your garden. And I finally just took my own advice and I went out and started cutting a few things. And I had the realization, I was like, this is the first bouquet that I've made this year, where I've made a bunch of bouquets for markets and events and subscriptions that we've done. But this was the first one that I had made for myself, which was wonderful. And it's on our kitchen table, and it's just something to brighten my day. The kids love it. And yeah, so I'm glad I took my own advice and slowed down a little bit and did that. So I'm very thankful for that. The next thing on the list to kind of help with that garden fatigue here in August too is to remember what is still coming. So you can kind of help with that transition into fall when we think about what is ahead. Dahlias for me are just starting to hit their stride. Those late season perennials are finally starting to bloom, or you can at least see the buds, and you know that that's about to get there, and you're going to be able to enjoy that in the next few weeks here. Fall color is coming. Those ornamental grasses, like the seed heads, are starting to come. Vegetables are ripening, and if you do some late season cool crops, those are coming up and coming down the pipeline here too as we transition into fall. And just a reminder, your garden isn't finished, it's just changing at this time of year. That was kind of the last thing here on the list, is just to remind yourself that there is more to come here in the gardening season. There's still things to look forward to, which is a great reminder. And if you're anything like me, summer just gets to be really crazy with wonky schedules, being out of routine. But for us, and if you're a mom or a grandma or whoever is listening out here, but like for me, school starts soon, so my kids are going to be heading back to school and to daycare, and then things are going to start getting to be back on a more regular schedule for us. And I honestly think that that's going to be such a good reset for both me and the garden. So trying to manage it all can be quite a challenge, and I think that this transition is just going to be a wonderful reset. But right now, I'm just really focusing on what I can do and what I can handle, and whatever my best is just going to be good enough. This is kind of my challenge to you as well. So this week, don't try to fix your entire garden if you are starting to feel that burnout here in the gardening season. Pick one small area, do what you can, and know that your best is enough. So the goal right now is to appreciate your garden for what it is right now, because gardening isn't about keeping everything absolutely perfect. It's about paying attention, learning as you go, and finding something beautiful even when you and your garden are feeling a little bit tired. So I hope that this kind of inspires you, or at least makes you maybe feel seen. I don't think I'm alone at this time of year trying to find the motivation to kind of make it to the end of the season. I'm kind of going to use this week as a pivotal time to find that motivation, dig deep, and just give myself a little bit of grace. So thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Garden Gamble podcast, and we will catch you next week. New episodes out every single Monday. Take care. Thanks for joining me on the Garden Gamble. If you loved this episode, be sure to subscribe and share it with a fellow plant lover. Gardening isn't a gamble when you have the right guidance, and you don't have to figure it out alone. Until next time, take care.